Hey YouTube, I'm Mrs. Dr. Lupo.
And I'm Sam, and today on The Magic Word, we're going to be talking about goals, resolutions, and habits.
It's the start of 2021 for us, so hope you enjoy the conversation and catch us live every Friday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific.
And make sure to like and subscribe if you want more magical content.
Have a good day.
Hello. Yeah, Merry Christmas Eve, friends.
It's Christmas Eve.
Gosh, yeah, somehow. When did that happen?
It's still supposed to be like middle of March, right?
Yeah, isn't this March month 12?
Right. March 556.
Yeah.
It's definitely winter though, because it's only like 6 degrees out at my house
Oh,
now.
can't relate.
No.
It's like 60 something here.
But here's the best part is, you're from the Midwest when it's 6 degrees out and you wear just a sweatshirt and a vest and that's it. And you think that that's warm enough.
I'd be in the thickest coat around you. Oh, wait. Shall we appear?
Maybe.
Would you like to see us?
Okay.
Hi, friends.
Welcome to episode 4 of The Magic Word. Episode 4.
How?
We were just saying that's crazy that it's already 4. Like we're almost a whole hand.
Yes.
Right?
Or we are both of our hands.
I 10.
We're 4. So there we go. We are. You know what? It's never going to get better. So I hope y'all are ready for that.
Be like, please, apparently. I am very fuzzy today.
You are, and I'm not.
Super sweating in a sweatshirt too.
I wore my red lip just to kind of get in the Christmas spirit, but I totally wanted to wear green. However, I don't want to ruin the magic, but there's a reason why I can't wear green, and if you know, you know.
Yeah, or we can't have words. And that's majority of my wardrobe is green with words on it.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stuck to wearing maybe only 4 or 5 things that we're going to see in 2 months. I'll just wear the same 4 outfits over and over.
I like how we're both wearing blue, though. I don't think that was intentional. What are we doing? First, we wore our necklaces together. Now we're wearing blue together.
I like your teapot necklace, by the way.
Oh, thank you. It is a little teapot.
It's very you. It's very vintage granny chic, and that's you.
Thank you. That is my favorite. Give me my wardrobe. I'm loud for once. Oh, hey, I'm loud and you are quiet, my friend. Which is weird. Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah. I wonder if stuff got messed up when I was doing my stuff last weekend. How about that? Also, I'm just a really quiet person.
I am too, which is why I'm shocked I'm loud.
Is that
all right? How do we sound now? Mic check. Mic check. Thank y'all for being our tech.
We are here, and
I'm still kind of loud. All right, turn me down. Shut me up.
Still the same. What's the deal?
I don't know. There's a lot of background noise on my end. Oh, is there? That's weird. Is that better? It might have been my noise gate.
Yeah, I mean, it's not picking up anything for me.
Yeah, that's better.
Yes.
Okay, I just
is she too quiet now for both talking?
Better?
Mucho better. Okay.
Yeah, we'll make sure to cut all this out. Watch is left in.
Oh, perfect, because I didn't start recording yet, so I'll start recording too.
All right.
Yay! Now, welcome to episode 4 of The Magic Word. We didn't already do an intro. Oh my gosh, how was your week?
It's been weird, honestly. Like the fact that today is Christmas Eve. I don't know when that happened. And I'm just not in a very Christmassy mood. I see the season stuff going on, but I'm just like, wow. What?
Yeah.
Such a weird year.
I feel that we had some snow a few days ago and then it melted and then we had a winter storm yesterday. So there's snow out there, but it's just the gross dusting of snow. And
slush.
It's not slush yet, but it's not like the fun snowman snow. It's like the little ice crystal snow.
It's not a blanket.
which it's still nice and bright and white. But I don't know. I'm with you. Even though we have like Christmas tree up and the Christmas lights, and I have all the yummy Christmassy candles and stuff like that.
Mm,
I just yeah, I feel you. I'm not like in the same spirit because I still feel like I didn't even celebrate Thanksgiving because I haven't seen my mom, and I usually see her over
yeah.
Thanksgiving, and I just feel like that holiday hasn't even been celebrated yet. So,
Yeah, it's oh gosh, it's so weird, and I know we're not alone in those thoughts, and we talked a lot about Christmas last week, and I feel like I was in more of a Christmas spirit last week than I am, like,
right.
right now, which is weird. However, something significant happened over the weekend, Sam. Can you
Oh.
please tell us about that?
Oh, me. You've heard me talk for the past 2 weeks about my stress levels with Build Against Cancer, and now it's over with, so I'm not stressed anymore. In 24 hours, we raised 2.31, I believe, $1 million for St. Jude
Wow.
Children's Research Hospital. It was the first year that we did something more than just Ben sitting and playing the same game for 24 hours, and that was a big thing. I'm very grateful, and I keep just like randomly hugging Ben for handing over his baby to me. Because he fought it. He fought it for months. And I was like, just if it fails, I will take 100% blame. We will figure out how to, make it work if it doesn't work, and we can just go back. We can go back to you in 2021 as
Mhm.
just being you for 24 hours. And but it didn't fail. It went off great. We raised more money, not by much, but we raised more money than we did last year. And and yeah, it was so good and very rewarding. But I learned a lot of stuff for next year. I know that I can't have a production team of two when one of them is live the whole almost the whole entire time. So
Yes.
usually like events like that, we had help. Like we had Josh from Tiltify, he helped us a ton. Twaz, our designer, helped us a ton. Jason and Jill from St. Jude helped us a ton too. And they were like there to kind of do our bidding for what we needed. But otherwise,
Good.
it was me and Ben, and that was it. And afterwards, they were like, "Yeah, usually an event like this would have at least 6 to 7 people on a production team." And I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, Sam. Oh my
So
gosh, but as an outside perspective, though, it was so good. It was everything was just heartwarming. Things were hilarious. You had your moments of like, pulling at your heartstrings. So much good was done. And Sam, you did that. I'm so proud of you.
thank you.
You should be
So
proud of you.
next
That's
year,
awesome.
we're gonna do it again. We're gonna do the same kind of thing. We're gonna make it better. We're gonna
Um,
see, depending on how the world is, if we can do it all from St. Jude and actually go to the hospital and broadcast
holy
it
heck.
from the hospital. And yeah, just so excited for it. So that was my week. And then we were supposed to do a couple crazy streams this week, but things just didn't pan out. So I actually ended up having like a really chill week. My house doesn't look like a tornado has come
Love
through it,
that.
and slobs live in it anymore, which is
Well,
great.
I've been there and I know slobs don't live there.
Yes.
You just, it was just lived in for a while.
But there, yeah, very much so. As in, like, there was one day there was no silverware in the drawer because they were all dirty. Everything was dirty. I was like, I'm like eating stuff with a knife because I didn't have a spoon.
It's like eating like a whole bowl of potatoes with
Just
just your hands. We're middle aging it.
I just had chicken nuggets one day and I didn't have a fork and I was just too tired. So I just used a butter knife and stabbed the chicken nuggets in.
Wait, hang on. You don't eat chicken nuggets with your hands?
Oh, not all the time.
I mean, if you don't have a fork, it's just,
You
I mean,
just stab them with a knife.
I suppose if you don't want to get your fingies dirty. You're so funny.
Oh my gosh. So yes, that was my week. What are you doing for the holidays?
So this evening I will be on my church's live stream, just singing for our Christmas production. It's definitely looking a little weird this year, that's for sure. Uh, but it's gonna be good. And then we've just got Christmas in the house with me, my husband, our son, and my brother, who lives with me. Don't worry, he's not traveling. So Yeah, that's really it. We're just gonna vibe. Oh, actually, we dusted off our old Nintendo 64 um, because we showed Leif the Donkey Kong rap from
Nice.
the 64, and so I have that game, and we're gonna play that. He's so excited. He's just like, "Mom, can you play this for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I sure
Yes.
can, buddy."
Yes.
I'm so excited. What about
Cool.
y'all?
We have a, what do we call it? Safety circle of Ben's eldest brother and his wife, grandma, and us. We all work from home and only go to the grocery store if we need to. So it will just be us tonight and tomorrow. So we're gonna have majority of it at our house, and then we're gonna have dinner tomorrow night at grandma's house, which will be,
Oh, that's lovely.
yeah, which will be nice. So
Oh, have you planned what dinner you're gonna have since y'all have the fun we don't know dinners?
right. Tonight we're having ham steak with peaches. We talked about that last time. And I debated on doing Chinese because that was like our Christmas dinner thing. And I debated on just going to, like Hy-Vee and ordering Chinese. But that, no, not this year. I didn't plan well enough ahead of time. We're just going to do ham steak and broccoli and garlic bread and apple crisp and stuff like that. And then in the morning tomorrow, we're going to have waffles. And
Us
then,
too.
yes. And then tomorrow night, I think grandma's making like a roast and potatoes and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, that's really good. We're actually doing talked about it like with traditions last week and how in Japan they do KFC
mm-hmm.
for Christmas. We were like,
Jack
you know
said
what,
you would.
let's do it for Christmas Eve. So that's what we're doing for Christmas Eve. But
I
then
need
we're
to see a
having like
picture of this.
stuff. I will and be like, this is our Christmas Eve dinner. I mean, it also works out since we will be out for
Yeah.
the evening. So it'll be nice just to pick it up.
So will
You know, and
you
I'm not opposed.
will you eat and then go do your church service, or will you do church service and then
No,
eat?
no problem. Well, I don't know. No, because I have to be at tech rehearsal at 3 p.m.
Oh yeah.
I don't want dinner at like 2. So it'll be a
It's
late
not
dinner.
Thanksgiving.
No.
All right.
Well, that's so funny. We don't eat early on Christmas. Do y'all?
No, and I hate when people are like on Thanksgiving dinner's at 2:30, and I was like, why? Why do you
That's me.
eat at 2:30 in the afternoon?
We are we make it early, eat it early, and then like graze on it the entire day. Just so you can just have the food there.
Yeah. And I guess when we do like family stuff, we don't go and spend all day with each other. That'd be different. If like you were showing up at 11 o'clock in the morning and we're staying until 9 o'clock at night, then yeah, eat at like 1, right?
Yeah, that's what we
That's
do.
like your lunch. And then you just pick and choose whatever. But we usually, show up to each other's places at like 4 in the afternoon. And then we eat at like 5:30 or 6.
That would definitely be different for
Yeah.
us.
So,
But we're, like,
okay.
all different.
2020 sucked.
Love that.
2020 really sucked. But that doesn't mean that 2021 has to, at least in what we're in control of. I feel like with 2020, everybody came into the year with like just great spirits and high hopes, and we weren't ready to be thrown off the horse, right? You never are.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially with it being a new decade, you're just like, oh, it's going to be so fun, like to start it out strong and have all of these great big goals. And it came crashing really quickly to a halt.
Really
Like,
hard.
the dreams were kind of crushed. I mean, people made new dreams and new goals during that, though, which was really cool. Actually, now I'm curious, did you do anything different during this year? Like, aside from your resolutions, like, did you learn anything?
I learned my punch needle.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, your
It's
stuff
probably
is
gonna like half disappear. Yep.
oh, because the green.
Because it's
Oh,
mainly
I started
this
there.
is all really bright green. So
Uh-huh.
like but I learned my punch needle, so I still have this area and the sky and a little bit of my trees down here to finish. But that's the thing that I took away from this year, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's good.
what about you? Did you pick up anything or adjust?
I actually started to try to learn how to sing alto, like a lower tone, because I sing very, very high. I was very classically trained, and can do very high pitched soprano, and I've always been able to do that. However, lower tones really hurt me. So I've been trying my best to learn that. You know, I had a lot of downtime to do it, and I'm kind of getting there, but it's a training thing. But I guess that was something. You know, I couldn't
Yeah,
really leave my house, but my voice stays with me, so I can bring it everywhere.
true.
Mm,
So today we are going to start with a little series that we're going to do through the
mm,
month of December. Oh my God. Through the month of January. So it'll be 5 weeks ish long. And we're just
yeah.
going to do a little 2021 prep, like
Mhm.
things that we learned from a year that threw you so many curveballs that we feel like, we can prepare ahead of time, hopefully, for all the
Yeah.
things that might come. So today we're going to talk about resolutions, goals, and creating habits, and kind of like the
Mhm.
the differences between them, in pros and cons of each. I feel like that there's definitely more pros and cons depending on what you're looking for from it, and or what you believe with it too. So
Yeah.
uh let's start with resolutions, because that's like the most common one, right? Everyone's always like, what are your resolutions for the
Yeah.
year? Do you make resolutions?
I usually don't
Either.
because I feel like it puts a pressure on me to keep something. But instead, I just kind of encourage myself to maybe do something different that year. I mean, I made a goal that I really wanted to travel more. I'm just gonna take a sip.
Sip. If you have emotes, do the sip emote.
That didn't happen.
Definitely not.
So, I
Oh,
haven't really even thought about 2021. Honestly, it it's not like a weight loss thing, but I want to get healthier so bad because I keep getting like, punched down with different issues. I'm just like, okay, I just want to get healthier somehow.
but what's so weird with resolutions is I feel like you only do resolutions at the beginning of the year, right?
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's why like gym memberships go up
right?
in the beginning of the year, but then they fall off by spring.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like the first 3 weeks of every
Mhm.
January, the gym is just completely packed, and then it just disappears. Everyone's over with it by then. So, do you think that resolutions work?
I think it depends on the person for sure. It depends on your personality type and how good you are at holding on to things, onto goals, and to push past the endeavors and get to that goal. I am definitely somebody who struggles.
Yeah.
So
I
I don't
think
think they work for me.
I think it's just so much pressure. Like, it's you just come off the holidays, and it's like you have to do it right then and there, which, who says that a resolution needs to be on January 1st? I can make a resolution starting tomorrow. Like,
Mhm.
I can do a Friday resolution if I want to. But there's just so much pressure for January 1st. And I used to buy into the, like, make 3 resolutions, one about your personal life and one about your work life. And then, one about your health and all that kind of stuff. And I was totally in writing everything down. And then, but there really is no accountability, I feel like, for resolutions.
Mhm.
There's no game plan, I guess, is the thing.
Yeah. I used to do this thing where I would write like a little letter to myself at the beginning of the year and then read it at the end of the year. But it was mostly in accordance to my resolution. And I stopped doing it because at the end of the year, I'd read it and be like, oh, I didn't lose that weight,
Right?
or I didn't do that thing. And I'm just like beating myself up then. And I've actually been thinking about bringing it back, but not to talk about resolutions, but to just be like, you know, you can do, your goals and stuff. And if you didn't reach them, that's okay. And, to encourage myself at the end as well. So I don't know. I think resolutions honestly are a little unhealthy.
I think they're kind of antiquated almost.
Yeah.
Like, they just the concept of beginning of the year resolutions. I agree with you that they very much don't really hold any meaning anymore.
No.
So recently, then people have been like, not saying I'm not making resolutions, but I'm giving myself some goals for the year.
Mhm. It's kind of the same
So
thing.
how does that differ from resolutions though?
I don't think it does.
You don't think it does?
Yeah.
Do you feel like though with goals, it's something a little bit more specific potentially? Like you could say,
Um,
my resolution is to be healthy, but a goal would be like, my goal is to lose weight or to gain muscle. Like, do you feel like, I don't feel like people would be like, my resolution is to gain muscle.
okay, there is a difference. However, I unless you're seeing it differently yourself, I don't think it's going to do anything different. Because once again, it's a mind game. Like you mentally have to be able to push yourself, or you have to be able to surround yourself with people who might also be pushing towards certain goals that can encourage you along your journey, even if they're different goals. But I don't know. But as you said, you don't have to make it at the beginning of the year.
Mm-mm.
And if you fall off from your goal, I think it's important to tell yourself that that's okay.
Things
You are
happen.
human. You're not a machine. So
Am I
just
not?
remember
Damn it.
that. So it it's just the stuff at the beginning of the year definitely feels like a double-edged sword a lot of times. And you got to be careful for sure. But I don't think that it's bad to have goals. I don't think it's bad to have goals at all.
Mm-mm.
It's just making sure they are achievable within your means and make small goals. Don't make huge ones, especially during a pandemic.
Right.
Like, give
I
yourself some
always,
grace.
and especially like this is a conversation I had with um my nephews a few years ago, and they are 16 now. So this is when they were 14,
Mhm.
15-ish or so. And we were talking about what they wanted to do in the future. Like, after high school, do they want to go to college? What kind of job are they interested in and all that kind of stuff? And I know it's a little early to talk about that kind of stuff, but I feel like it's important
Yeah.
for kids once you're like 14, 15, that you really start like kind of deciding what interests you. Not necessarily what you're going to do, but at least having,
Mhm.
an idea in mind that you want to be in politics or you want to be an artist or kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um and we talked about attainable goals, and we talked about moonshot, which you know what moonshot means because we did that
Right.
together. But moonshot is something that JFK used as kind of like a stretch goal. Like that
Yeah.
would be the ultimate thing that you could do, would be your moonshot, and that was going to the moon for them. And so I talked to them about like what's your moonshot? What's the, when I grow up, I want to be kind of thing. And they told
Yeah.
me that they wanted to both work in the gaming industry, either
Oh,
creating games or doing art for games. So one of them wanted to be a background artist for video games, and then the other one wanted to help do like character design. And so it was like super cool. They're very amazing artists. It's super smart kids. And I was like, that's awesome.
that
What can
is.
you do to get there?
Yeah.
Just in case, because how many people do you know are background artists for video games? And they had very specific companies that they wanted to work with. And
Mhm.
I was like, I'm not trying to like tear you down, but what can you do in the meantime to fulfill your desire for that, and then also kind of build your way there, right? Instead of just being like, I'm only going to do this, I could only work for this company, I'm not going to take any other job that's not like it, whatever. And they're like, well, we just kind of plan on getting a job to make money. And I was like, well, no, don't do that. Like, yeah, go get a job to make money, but
Yeah.
who says that you can't work at an art store so you get discounts on supplies, and then you can play and practice with different supplies that maybe help your skills. So then when you go apply for that job, you can be like, not only do I do this, this, and this, and this, I also know all about this, this, and this, and this. And they were like, I never thought of it that way because they've only been taught to go for that moonshot goal.
Yeah.
And like
Have they ever
how
been oh, sorry.
I was
Go
gonna say
ahead.
how sad if you only aim for those moonshot goals, then majority of them are not gonna happen. Let's just be
Mhm.
honest, right? Like I had a goal to climb Half Dome. That was like a life
I'm
goal.
what?
Half Dome in Yosemite.
Oh.
So you can climb up to the summit, like the base of Half Dome, and then the to get to the very top is a whole cable and chain system that you have to walk up the side of the mountain. It's a
Oh.
lottery system to get picked. It's a very grueling type
Wow.
thing, something that I always wanted to do, and I told myself that I would not. I would make sure that I would not leave this world without doing it. Well, now I have asthma and I have Lyme disease. And so now I feel like I failed myself because I didn't do it earlier in my life. But if I just would have been like, you know what? I want to be able to climb the mountainous trails in Yosemite. I could have already checked off that off my list 4 or 5 times by now. So does that make sense? Like I feel like so many
Yeah.
people pick those
No, for
super
sure.
moonshot goals like that are like the perfection goals and they forget about all of the really amazing milestones that could potentially lead up to that that are just as good,
Yeah, and look, raising 3 million for St. Jude. What?
right? Like I could change that and I could be like, yeah, my goal is to, you know, be able to, I don't know, be a spokesperson like Jennifer Aniston for St. Jude kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But really ultimately, I mean, that's never going to happen. Or if it is, it's a
Never.
very small, slight chance. But I could also be like, you know what? I would love to be a spokesperson for their web series, which hey, I already am. So like I don't want to diminish the things that I've accomplished. So I
Yeah.
feel like goals are kind of tricky in that way too, right?
That's true. I mean, have you said nephews, right?
Correct.
Have they ever been introduced to Stardew Valley? That's a one-man thing.
Right?
Like, they can do that. If they
Or
don't get
even
introduced,
Minecraft
they
at the
can
beginning.
make your dream, you know?
Yeah.
And it yeah, or yeah, that too. So there's a lot of ways people get into certain industries, get into uh certain career goals and things like that. And like for me, I wanted to be an actor always. Um and I remember I was standing in our kitchen doorway growing up. I was like maybe 6 or 7. And my dad specifically asked me, he was like, "What do you want to do with your life, Minky?" That's what he calls me. And I was like, "I want to be a movie star." And he was like, "Well, that's really hard. If you couldn't get that, what would you want to do then?" I was like, "I want to be a doctor for babies." And he was like, "That's also really hard. If that wouldn't be your goal, what else could you do?" Like he kept asking me like, "Make sure you have several different things in mind that you're interested in." And I remember telling him, I was like, "I don't think there's any more goals. I'm going to be famous." And living in like little Louisiana where there's not too much entertainment industry. There's very little. Um, I as I got older, I was like, oh, I did a lot of theater. I did a lot of things that I knew that I could do, but that there was like no out. And it wasn't until my husband just so happened to get stationed in California that I started feeling that spark again of, oh, well, I mean, I'm in the area. And even then, like, there's just, unless you know people, there's no way to get into some agencies and stuff like that. And so eventually, I came across Twitch and I was like, I can do this. And so I did. But I started small. And it's like the same with many people in their career paths. You start small and you build your way up. And I think the important thing that I would tell people who are going for, their moonshots is that small growth is still growth. Um, for sure. And just don't be discouraged if you don't get to those goals or your resolution or something like that. That's why it's important to make those feasible goals and things that you can obtain. So for folk who want to lose weight, that's not a bad goal to have at all. However, don't look at it like I want to lose 40 pounds. Look at it, I want to lose 5. You know, reach that goal because it feels good. And then you can be like, okay, maybe I can lose another 5. Um, so the baby steps are important to get to your destination. So I think that that's important.
Yeah. And there's a part in a book that I've talked about many times. Everyone should know by now, my favorite book in the whole entire world. But The
Tell us,
Subtle
Sam.
Art of Not Giving an F. That he talks about to not label yourself with things that are so out there instead of labeling yourself with things that are attainable, because otherwise you're never satisfied with who you are.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm going to label myself as the most famous photographer that takes baby photos, aka Ann Geddes, right? Everybody knows who Ann Geddes is. I want to be the next Ann Geddes, and that's it. And that's all I want to be, and that's that's who I am, and stuff like that. I'm going to be known as the person that is not Ann Geddes then, right? But if I gave myself a more attainable goal, I can be like, I can be one of the best baby photographers in Omaha, Nebraska. And that's still a big thing because there's hundreds out there.
Yeah.
Or I could label myself as a mother and a good friend and a wife and a daughter, and really just hone in on that kind of stuff. Like, what's a goal that could make me be a better mother?
Mm.
Right? What's it? And I feel like same thing with resolutions. I feel like resolutions and goals, they have so much weight put on them to do only big things that people
Yeah.
forget about the little steps, right? That they can be
Yeah.
celebrated too. And it just,
Baby steps.
yeah, baby steps are good. Like,
You can still take baby steps as an adult. Come on, you ain't
yeah,
gotta go
kids
run.
don't just like stand up and start sprinting, right? They
The floor isn't actually lava. Like you can walk on it.
can you imagine like a 1-year-old baby that just stands up and it's just like
Imagine a baby like coming out of the womb and they're like, all right, let's just prop him up right here. And he just starts walking across. I'm sorry, that's actually a horror like mindset.
at
Sorry.
that point then the baby's head's going to start turning around 360 or something like
This is the exorcist. Is it spewing everywhere?
oh, so gross, so gross.
I love it here. Oh
Oh,
my
no, no,
gosh.
don't want that. Don't want so what about creating habits then? That's
Um,
the one that I tend to lean on the most.
that's a good one. I feel like creating habits and breaking some habits is a goal in itself,
Yeah.
especially if they're bad habits. So
So
I feel that.
what are some habits that you have made or broken in 2020?
I've made bad habits of overworking myself. And I'm noticing it more and more, and people around me are noticing it more and more because my mental health has definitely taken a dump. But I have a lot on my shoulders, and the problem with my bad habit of overworking is that I do not have the means to not right now. And just for a background, for those of you who are new and don't know my situation, as most people, my husband, his job was finished this year, and so he is now back in college, trying to hire his education so that he can have a better job for our family and stuff like that. And so everything is on me to keep the roof over our heads, to keep the food in our belly, to keep bills paid. And with this streaming career, I don't have the luxury of like paid time off or anything like that. So even on my scheduled days off, I could just stream and be making hopefully some income. So that has been my personal bad habit, but it's a habit I don't know how to break right now.
Right.
Um, so
The
that
seasonal
I would
habit.
like to, yeah, I would like to find the way to balance that, but that does not exist for me right now. So that is a goal of mine, is to not work from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Sam. It's wild. But yeah, hopefully 2021 is good to me in that era. If
Is there any
I could be
other
paid to take time off, that'd be awesome.
there any other goals that you have, or not goals, habits that you've created, maybe even just as part of like your daily routine or
Yes. Yeah, for my morning routine, which is why it's so hard for me to get back to you in the mornings right away. I don't let the outside world get to me. Um, so if I need to check an email or social media, it's for like 2 seconds. I'm not, doom scrolling or anything, because I want my mornings to start off okay. So that's a good habit that I made for my mental health, so that I could start the day light and not take on the weight of the world immediately until I'm at least done streaming. What about you?
I've created a few habits this year that I think have really helped me, especially with not being able to have Charlie like in school all the time, doing less work and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I've created like a super flat morning routine. Like I get up, I do the same things in the same order every day. So at least something is starting correctly. Right? So like I get up and I open up all my windows in the whole entire house. And I always say I'm waking up my house. And I make my bed every single day. And that's even like a small habit in itself that goes so far, right? Is if you make your
Mhm.
bed in the morning and then at night you come in, your room is nice and clean and ready and waiting for you versus like, a giant pile of fluff. Which is always
That is my
frustrating because you can never get back into the bed in a comfortable position, right? When the bed's not made. I don't
Yes. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, I have to make my bed. I sorry, like all the stuff you're saying. I open my windows in the
Yep.
morning. I make my bed. Like I have to, because it gives you that uh uh like serenity feeling.
Right.
So yeah.
Because otherwise, like, if the sheets are all messed up, then I still have to straighten them out because then I
Yep.
feel like I'm just getting back into what I left. I don't
Laying on
know.
a
I just
wrinkle.
my
Ugh.
my brain can't take it basically. Um, but the biggest habit that I have been doing only the past like couple months is I have been giving myself a limit to how many things I allow myself to be on my list every day.
Oh.
And so it started out as a stupid Instagram filter that was like the daily to-do list one, and it has the little bars. If you will follow me on Instagram, you'll see that there's 6 bars on there, and I was like, six is good. Six is a good number because mentally I would want to do 5, but if I do 6, then I feel like I'm accomplishing more because it's one more than a hand. So in my brain, when I accomplish 6 things in a day, and I'm like, I did 6. 5 is what my brain wants me to do, but I did 6. Yeah, like
You
it's
did.
totally
Watch yourself.
yeah. And then I have a list. I don't get overwhelmed because I don't know about you, but if I have so much going on, I shut down and I just don't do any of it.
Yes.
Yes. So I allow myself to do 6 things. And if it's like answering emails, doing a load of laundry, watering the plants, vacuuming the basement, changing out our sheets, and maybe breaking down boxes so I can recycle them. And that's it. Obviously, there is like my daily today, like to do stuff. I need to do the dishes and, make food and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But outside of my standard day to day things, 6 seems to be the perfect number for me. And then I still get stuff done every day.
Important. I always see that filter, but I'm always too lazy to do it because I already have over 6 things on my list.
Right.
So I just don't even worry about it.
But when
But
like so for
I
me,
feel like that's a healthier way.
yeah,
Yeah.
for me, if I write down, because a lot of people will do like brain dumps, right? They write down everything that they have to do for the whole entire week, and then they just start picking and choosing and crossing off and stuff like that. If I give myself 10 things to do, and
Mhm.
I only get 4 of them done, I'm going to feel like I failed. I still did stuff, right? But I feel like I failed because I didn't do 10. And everyone should be able to do 10 things in a day. Why can't I do 10 things in a day? Well, tomorrow I'm just not going to do anything because obviously I'm a failure and I can't do 10 things in a day. And
It's a
that's the
spiral.
spiral. Ben's like, "So what do you do
Mhm.
today?" I'm like, "Sat here."
I feel like that also goes with we need to take our own advice. Baby steps.
Oh, it's baby steps. Baby
Even on your
steps.
date. But it's also if y'all had seen our previous episode, the first one, we talked about the spoon theory. Like it just you don't want to lose all your spoons and you still have like 6 things left to do after you've already done 4 of them, you
Right.
know? So,
And maybe somebody only can do 3 things a day.
yeah,
Right? And
that's true.
and that's exciting for them because usually they only do 1,
Mhm.
right? It's just
True.
that's the thing that I'm focusing on for 2021 is creating and maintaining habits that become part of my life. And
Mhm.
I promise that I will figure out how to keep up with laundry by the end of 2021.
Girl, don't worry, who does? I
Every
wanna
single
meet the
morning.
magician that does.
Every single morning, Charlie comes, like for the past week, Charlie comes to our room. Mommy, I can't find any underwear in the laundry room because they're like up on the on the counter. So I have to get out and like go find him. Otherwise, he's digging in the dryer for his clean underwear, and I'm like, poor kid. Your mother can't even get it together to fold your underwear and put them in your drawer for you.
A lot though. Give yourself some more credit.
Yeah.
You're a manager, you're a mom, you're a school teacher, you're the house cleaner. You were everything right now, especially during the pandemic.
Yeah.
You're
So
doing good.
I think that for me, I'm not doing resolutions. I'm not
Yeah,
doing
no.
goals because goals even then I'm just trying to maintain the day to day,
Yeah.
and that's about it. And that's okay. Like I have work goals. Like Ben and I have plans of things that we want to accomplish in his work, and we have those written down, and we're already on the path for every single one of them. So cool. Those goals can stay there. I don't
Mhm.
want to overwhelm myself with so many goals either that I'm like, well, now I can't accomplish them. So I'm only allowing myself a certain amount of goals at the same time. But I think for me, I'm going to focus on creating habits, and I think some of the habits that I'm going to continue creating is my 6 things a day
Mhm.
and figuring out my habit of laundry. Um, and really that's about it. Like that's really all I feel like I'm missing because for 2020, I honed in so hard on creating these habits to keep myself floating
Mhm.
that I feel like I'm in a good spot for the most part. A weird thing to say at the end of a pandemic year.
I hope that I say that by the end of next year. I
What kind
know
of
I'm not in a good spot, but I know I can also get there. It's more so what's not an easier path, but what is a feasible path for me to do that without you putting myself in that grave?
yeah?
Like it's stressful.
How do
So,
you or what habits do you want to try to adopt?
um, my biggest one is learning my time balance. Uh, and taking care of my type A personality, where I have to have my hand in every cookie jar,
Cookies are
and
good.
getting my hand. They are getting my hand out of those cookie jars and letting the 2 very capable adults who live with me to do that instead of me. It's not that they can't, it's that I won't let them.
Right.
Um, and so that adds a lot more of my stress. So that's definitely a habit that I need to break for sure and build a better habit of self-care. I will say though, I did build another habit this year that actually my therapist taught me because, we got these cute little devices you know? And you can still work from your desk to your room, to the grocery store, everywhere. And that's become a problem because people know you're there.
Mhm.
And I used to make sure that I did not reply to people. Even if I've seen like the message pop up, I don't click on it. I used to not look at it or anything like that because I wanted to not make myself available for moments where I need to be present in my life. And I broke that good habit and made a bad habit this year because I just have felt that I need to answer everyone. I need to be everyone's friend. I need to be emotionally available for everyone. And then I ended up losing myself uh, significantly because of that. So I'm reworking that. That is a goal, is to learn to step away and to be present again when I need to be. Um, that's a huge habit for me.
I think I need to get back into the habit that I used to have, like you, where I
Mhm.
don't touch my phone until like my day is ready to start. It used to
Yeah.
be almost an hour after I woke up that I would even look at my phone. The thing for us though is that we use our phone to unlock our house, like unarm our house in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just need to when I go to bed, make sure that that app is pulled up already. So that way when I wake up in the morning, all I do is just, swipe, unlock, close.
Mhm.
Because recently I used to do that and I used to be fine with it. Recently, I've just been so tired to get out of bed. I just lay in bed for like 15 minutes and just look at my emails, kind of plan out my day when really I shouldn't be already freaking out about my day that early in the morning. I should have
Yeah.
pre planned the day before the things that I need to do. So that way in the morning I can just, be there.
Are you a pre-planner?
I am. I usually am a person that like the day before I kind of figure out the order of operations,
Mhm.
what's going to work the smoothest and all that kind of stuff. But it bites me in the butt because if it doesn't happen that way, I freak out. And I'm the person that like
Guilty.
I despise being late. It gives me so much anxiety to be late.
Same.
And Ben used to be the same way until like maybe a few years ago. I think it was like right after we had Charlie. And of course, when you have a kid, then you're always late. But we would just adjust so that we would leave earlier. So that way, because I say, hey, go put your shoes on. And 10 minutes later, he finally has his shoes on.
Yep.
I've adjusted that. But Ben and I had to go somewhere on Tuesday and we had to be there at 4:30. We didn't leave the house until 4:40. And I was like,
Oh, you panicked.
and of course, like I'm snappy then at him, and he's like, "Why are you so sour today?" And I'm like, "Cause we're late." And he's like, "It's fine. You already told them that we're gonna be late." And I'm like, "No, but that's that other person's time that I'm wasting." And and then I just like
Is
go
this
into
me and
this,
Eric?
yeah, I just go into this like huge tornado of worry that I am destroying somebody else's day because I'm late. So I'm always the person that I'm right on time. Like I'm not early. I hate the people though that are like, we're here 15 minutes early. And I'm like, that means that I had 15 minutes to still do stuff.
Okay, no. It's me, but I won't let you know until, like, literally if I'm supposed to be there at 3, I'll let you know at 2:59 that I'm there. Like, I'll wait in the car and be silent. Because of so I did basketball in high school, and there was this big old poster on the door for our locker that always said, "If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late, and if you're late, you're late." And so, I was always made sure to be early because if I wasn't early, we'd have to do suicide runs. And like homegirl with asthma over here doesn't want to do suicide runs. You're gonna kill me.
I miss suicide runs. Well,
I don't what you
I always thought they
masochistic.
were fun. I was a sprinter though. I was a sprinter on track. Yeah.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, no, heck no, fam.
I
No,
think they're
so
great.
that has been like still instilled to my brain. And so like Leif has dance class at 4 p.m. It takes us like 15, 20 minutes to get there. I leave at 3 because I want to be there. I don't mind sitting in the car. I'm like, Leif, bring your Switch. Like, we're gonna just sit in the car. But I also use that time because I don't have it to be with him.
Hmm.
Um, so to talk with him and things like that. So I'm still utilizing that time for good in my life. Even if I'm early, I don't mind vibing in a car. It's the same as kind of just sitting here
Yeah,
and just
sure.
talking. Just in a car, different scenery.
Oh my
Gets me out
gosh.
of the house. But I am that person. But don't worry, I won't let you know I'm there until like a minute before.
Okay.
Because if I'm on time, I'm still late.
So if I had to be somewhere at 4 that took me 15 minutes to get there, I would leave at 3:40.
Oh god, you're
So I
giving
had
me
5
anxiety.
minutes of time, like to buffer, right?
Yeah. I guess
So
it's the California traffic too. I never know what I'm gonna get.
true.
There was whenever I was doing cycling classes, I would go to my classes at 5 in the morning. Um anyway, there was one morning in particular where there was construction on the interstate and it took me an hour and a half. I missed my class and I had to
Oh,
sign up for the next one and I got there 5 minutes before. An hour and a half to go 1 mile.
I no. And here's
So
the
I have to plan for the worst.
yeah. So we were gonna have to go do something 30 miles away for Ben for work this week, but it got canceled. I say 30 miles, 30 minutes away. And they're like, yeah, it's only 30 minutes away and it should be super close to you guys. And I'm like, dude, that's in another town. For Omaha, we have so many interstates in Omaha, and it's a very grid system
Yeah.
that 15 minutes is long to be in the car to drive somewhere. We don't drive somewhere that's over 20 minutes away unless it's like super pre-planned. And yeah, that could be in another state. It literally was in another state that we were driving. And so when they're like, it's only 30 minutes away, it's not far. And I was like, heck, that's far. I don't want to drive 30 minutes in the car.
And here we are. We're just like, "Oh my gosh, 45 minutes. It's so close."
Yeah. Anytime Ben and I go to a convention and they're like, yeah, we're going to go to this restaurant. It's only like 45 minutes away from the hotel. And Ben and I are like, we need to eat before we go because we're going to be so hungry waiting. And I don't get how anybody can be in a car that long. It literally takes me an hour to drive to the capital of the state from my home. And it takes me 3.5 hours to drive almost all the way across my state to go see my mom. And it
Oh
just,
my gosh.
yeah, it's so crazy that people that, like, yeah, in LA, it's only an hour away. It's not a big deal. And I'm like, screw that. I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
going.
it's so simple. We were talking about this yesterday. I think it was my brother and I, how in Louisiana you can go maybe 10 miles and it will take you like 40 minutes. Not because of traffic, because the speed limit is so slow and the cops are on you.
Oh,
So
really?
you really can't speed. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, Louisiana's bad. Anyway, so it's so frustrating because it's just like I can be there so soon, but I can't.
Right.
However, I can go 70 miles here in like an hour and a half. And just like I don't understand. Come on.
So let's
So
see.
whenever I say that, that's not that far away because it doesn't take as long to get there if I'm comparing it to where I grew up.
Right. I'm going to do a quick Google Maps
Okay.
situation without saying information, and then we're going to move on because I find this absolutely hilarious. So, from where I live in Omaha to where the zoo is,
Okay.
which is 23.2 miles away, it would take me 22 minutes to go
No,
23 miles.
nice. Yeah, I liked whenever we were driving around in Omaha.
Yeah.
Everything was very fluid. It was not southern traffic.
No. No, and like all the interstates are 60, 65, and all that kind of stuff. Like it's crazy. Anyways,
Oh my gosh.
moving on. We kind of talked we kind of talked about this a little bit. Is the pressure to have certain resolutions, goals, or habits too much or unhealthy? And we talked about resolutions. I feel like are almost unhealthy and antiquated,
Yeah.
right? Like I
Yeah.
don't feel
In
like
the
we need to
beginning, I
do
don't think they're healthy.
resolutions anymore. I
No.
think not even like specific goals for a milestone. Like
Mm.
people they're like by the time I'm 30, I want to do this. And when I turn 35, I want to be able to accomplish this or whatever. I don't feel like goals like that are not even are not even healthy either.
Yeah.
I think goals for the here and now are okay. To be like, you know what, in my work, I'm at this point, and I would love to be at this point, but not putting like a time stamp on it,
Mhm.
because otherwise
Oh, yeah.
it
Oh,
just
'cause if
makes you go crazy. Because like I turn 35 next year, and
mhm.
if I were gonna say before I'm 35, I want to be able to go on this really crazy hike kind of thing. Well, I'm not going on a hike anytime soon because I can't travel anywhere. And so
Yeah.
but I could say, you know what, when the world is better, I would really love to go on this hike at this place. Cool, that's a goal. But it's not like a because this happened
Mhm.
or this is going to happen type goal. What do you feel like about with the unhealthy part of it?
I feel like the word resolution is just so tainted because most people don't ever reach the resolutions.
Yeah.
It's like maybe a 2% of people. Let's be real.
I want to know who's actually kept a full year resolution,
Yeah,
right?
seriously. I cuz
Anybody?
teach me. I would like to know how to do that.
Mm.
But heck, I feel like this upcoming year in particular, because 2020 threw us so many curveballs, it's important to not make like some huge end goal. Even like with streamers, uh, don't make follower goals. I I don't think they're healthy. I used to do that, and I would beat myself up if like the end of the year was coming up. I was like, oh no, I'm still like 5,000 people away from this goal. Because, well, first off, numbers do not equate your worth. Um, I feel like if you put numbers on anything like that, it's gonna beat you up. It's gonna mentally bog you down a little bit
Yeah.
because you put your worth on something that is not what makes you worthy.
Even like with sub
So
goals too, I see that too. A lot of people that are like, they have
I do
the,
incentives. They can
you
get a
do.
VR Phasmophobia stream if they hit a hard goal because
Yeah.
I ain't doing
And that kind of
it.
stuff. But I don't understand the people that are like, my daily sub goal is, they're like
I
20
used to do
subs.
that when
Yeah.
I first started being the sole breadwinner, because I know the amount that I need to make a month to pay for everything. Um, I've only reached that 1 month, and it beat me up for a while. But now we just figure it out, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't ever want to put pressure on people whenever it's my stuff to deal with, you
Yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's another thing. You got to be careful that you're not putting your goals on other people.
True. Yeah. To not basically be like, I need to have this many subs.
Mhm,
So you need to make that happen
mhm.
when it could be people aren't subbing because of something that you're doing. So you need to like figure that
Yeah,
out, right?
and there's a
Just using
freaking
that for an example. Yeah.
pandemic.
Yes.
Everyone's going through it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm focusing on habits.
Yeah, same.
That's what I think what our little series is going to be mainly focused on is creating new habits to just simplify everything. So that way if you did have those bigger goals, rest of your life, is as together as it's gonna be. Because we all have cracks and chipped paint and glue spillage and all that kind of stuff. Like nobody's perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. Everybody has that thing behind the scenes. Do you want to know how many people that are like, man, you guys, your life just must be so amazing? And I'm like, well, it is pretty great, but we still have the same issues everybody else does,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, her magic doesn't laundry or her magic, her doesn't magically do itself yet.
Please,
Still waiting on that.
please. Yeah,
I want that.
exactly. So I think, yeah, I'm focusing on creating habits. Throughout this series, a few things that we're going to talk about. Just we haven't figured out the whole series. I think the last few we're going to kind
Yeah.
of just let it unfold to itself of what we need to expand on a little bit more. But we are going to talk about minimalism and intentional living next week on January 1st. So you can join the very first day of the year with us, which will be
I'm
exciting.
excited to do that, by the
Right?
way.
I saw that and I was like, oh, it's so perfect. Thank you for suggesting that it's on Friday. um, and then we are going to talk with actually my sister-in-law at some point, where she's a nurse practitioner and focused on lifestyle medicine. And she has created a program called the 4Ms, and she'll be able to come in and talk about that as well. And just
That'll be
things,
our first guest, huh?
yes, things
Ooh.
that will, yeah, just make everything else able for you to put your focus on that, because you've already done so much work to put the focus on you internally.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
do you guys, I saw a few questions throughout the whole thing that I totally forgot by now, but does anybody have any questions regarding resolutions and goals and creating habits? Maybe what are your resolutions, goals, or habits that you want to create? If you want to talk out of a habit that you want to create and how you think you would go about doing that, maybe we can give a little bit of feedback and stuff like that. Again, we aren't
Yeah.
professionals, but sometimes it's just
Disclaimer.
good to talk to somebody about it, right?
We're just your girlfriends.
Yeah,
It's really it.
exactly.
Just here to be your
What are your
girlfriends.
ideas for sticking with a new habit? Accountability
I'm
is,
cool.
yeah, is big. The thing that Ben always told me when we would work out and I didn't want to go, and I'm like, I'm not motivated to go. And he's like, it doesn't matter if you're motivated. Are you disciplined?
Oh,
And I was like,
but that's a good way to do it.
no, apparently not. So I never say that I'm not motivated, because there's going to be so many reasons why I'm not motivated to do things. But am I disciplined enough to tell myself that I still need to do it no matter what? That
Yeah.
was like, did a big switch for me. And so yeah, if I don't work out, I get down on myself, because that means that I don't have discipline. And but what do I need to do to get discipline? I find accountability, and I find the ways that I can easily intertwine it with my life. Yeah.
Good.
I don't, same reason why when we're talking about like working out, I hate the word toned. Like, I just want to tone my stomach. That's not a thing. You don't do that. I don't like motivation. I feel like that has become such a social media kind of ploy for things, that discipline is more important than motivation.
And discipline definitely goes into making a habit.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
for sure.
So that coincides. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah. If you don't have discipline, then you're not going to do anything, right? You have discipline to not, eat a whole entire bag of candy, right? If that's something that's important to you. I don't know. I couldn't think of anything. If that's something that's important to you, you have the discipline to not do that. You have the discipline to not eat raw meat because you were taught that it's the wrong way. Like, there you
Not
go.
to touch the hot stove.
Yes. You have discipline to not touch a hot stove. You have discipline to not go outside in your underwear when it's snowing outside. Like, there's
What?
no, what? Oh
Aren't there
my
those
gosh.
people, they like go swimming in the ice cold
And
for
discipline
their
is the number one thing that people lack. And that's
yeah.
okay, because most people don't realize it, because they're trying to go about it the other way. They're sitting and they're like, I don't have motivation. Okay, well then I'm just going to give up. But if they're trying to achieve motivation, you need to have discipline to achieve motivation, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you don't constantly want to achieve motivation, then you don't have the discipline to want to constantly achieve the motivation. So I think that a lot of people, I myself, lack discipline in many, many ways. And that's the
Mhm.
biggest thing. Yeah. So accountability is the biggest thing for me to help create the discipline. Finding
I'm
people
definitely gonna need that
that are going
during
to
the
kick you in the butt. And if you're like, I missed working out today, and they're like, oh, it's okay. You probably had a rough day. No, they're going to be like, go do it. I don't care how long it is. Go spend 10 minutes and stretch. It's better than what you're doing right now, kind of thing.
those are also good friends, we like to call them.
Yes, good friends are the friends that tell you that you are wrong.
Oh my gosh, and being able to listen to your good friends who are telling you that you're wrong. Yeah, sometimes we need to listen.
Yeah. All right, what else is up here?
I haven't seen any
Need to create a
questions.
better morning habit. I tend to roll out of bed 10 minutes, if that, before I clock in for work and feel like it could be better. So you see people that are like, I wake up at 5 in the morning because I want time to myself and stuff like that. And that works for some people. Screw that. I can't do that though.
Hi,
But
it's me.
yeah, like my sister-in-law, she wakes up at 5 in the morning and she has an hour and a half to 2 hours before her kids are awake. She does her workout and eats her breakfast and plans out her day and journals and meditates and all that kind of stuff before she's already had a day before her family's awake. And I'm like, wow, kudos to you. But that's not me. So if you're
Mhm.
waking up 10 minutes before you have to leave the house and you're like, I'm stressed and I can't figure this out, try waking up 20 minutes before you have to leave the house. It's only 10 minutes. And then once,
I do this weird thing with my schedule. If I have to wake up at 7, I'll wake up at like 6:58. I don't know why, but it's like a little goal of like I woke up before 7 and
right?
it feels good.
And then I do that too. If I know that I have to get out of bed at 7 because then I'll be ready to go by 7:30, I'll wake up 5 minutes beforehand. I'll set my alarm for 5 minutes
Mhm.
beforehand because then I have 5 minutes to lay in bed
Yep, to wake up.
to wake up. So my mentally, I'm just laying there. My eyes are still closed. I talk about my day to myself, and I kind of just really prepare myself for that moment.
Mhm.
So I guess for wanting to have more of a morning time. Thing is, my desk is in my room, so I walk 2 feet for work. Just
That's
COVID things,
stressful.
work from home. So, I mean, do you feel ready for your day when you roll out of your bed and literally roll into your desk chair, or do you feel like there's something else that you could do
Mhm.
that can help you feel more motivated and ready for your day? I would just start at 10-minute increments. So wake up 20 minutes beforehand for a week. See how that feels. And if
Yeah.
you find something and then you're like, all right, next week I'm going to wake up 30 minutes beforehand. Just small
Yeah.
baby steps.
Yeah, and also don't force yourself to be more exhausted. Making an earlier morning habit coincides with making a better bedtime habit. And that is where I can say I am very disciplined in my bedtime. And I feel bad whenever friends are reaching out to me. They're like, "Sam, it's only 7:30 your time." And I'm like, "No, I already took melatonin. I'm ready to go to sleep. Like, I'm going to bed. I'm sorry. I clocked out." So unless you're like one of my best friends, Sam, I probably am not gonna answer you.
Yeah.
Like I have an early morning because it is my peaceful time. It is my uninterrupted, like nothing is gonna get me. Yeah, gamers having bedtime. And you know what? I didn't forever.
Yeah.
And it's a habit that I made, and it's a habit I plan to keep. It does suck whenever friends are like, "Let's play games." It's only 7 p.m. You can play games for a few hours, and I'm like, no,
Just kidding.
my body is sick. It needs rest to rejuvenate so that I can prepare for the next hard day of work.
Yes. So what time do you usually go to bed then?
7:30.
7:30?
Yeah. No, I'm in bed. There
I
are
feel bad
moments
each
where
time that we
I
hang
stay
out
up.
then because I'm like, we can't start until 7 your time.
We usually do it on weekends or
Yeah.
things like that. There are moments where I will push myself. Like this entire week, I have been up till I was up till midnight last night. Like I've been up really late, but that's because I've got a lot of stuff to get done this week. So, uh, overworked. Um, fine. Sometimes I regret making my stream schedule at 8:30 a.m.
Right? But then you get on before everybody else. Like when it's 8:30 a.m., it's already 10:30 for me. So my
And
day
it's
is
user
already,
friendly.
yeah.
So I get to meet people from around the world. Sorry, Aussie friends, it's not very good for you. It's like 3 a.m.
Oh man. Yeah, I go to bed around 11. And because I go to bed a little earlier, Ben has been staying up later. And that means
Oh,
that he sleeps in and then he's starting his stream later every single day. So usually, like he says that he's live by 8. Recently, it's been live by 9 because he's not coming to bed until midnight and then he sleeps in until 8.
this also sounds like me and Eric. Hope you're listening.
Yeah. Bed by 2 a.m., up by 9:30. Oh, I can't. Bed by midnight, wake up around 8:30. Oh. Yeah,
I don't
7
remember
to
the
9
last time I
hours
slept
is
that late.
healthy. I get about 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
Same.
And yeah.
Well, do you use the Fitbit app?
I haven't had it. The battery died, and I just have been too lazy to charge it.
Yeah, I use that. It's always like you've gotten like 8 hours of sleep, even though I went to bed 12 hours ago.
Right.
But it's because it's been interrupted and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm like, ah, dang it.
Not
Fine.
not cool. Does anyone have any questions about creating habits? Just work too much. See, that's the thing is that I feel like for 2021 we should all have habits to create about work-life balance.
Especially working from home. I've talked to several friends who went from offices to their house. Keep your time off. Your time off. That is advice that I need to take. However, if you are usually out of the office by 5 and they can't contact you till 9 the next morning, be out of your office by 5. Like, do not do work.
Let's just make this
And
a whole episode in our 2021 prep.
yeah,
Let's
I'm
do
going
that.
to.
We'll do minimalism next week. We'll see if Molly can come on and talk to us the week after that. We'll do work-life balance after that. See, it's building itself, just like we said.
Boost each other up. We're all here
Yeah.
together.
Do you have any good tips for going to sleep earlier?
Well, from the grandma herself, it's it really is a discipline, like a big discipline, because like I was saying, like your friends will reach out to you, they'll want to hang out, they'll want to play games, they'll want to just talk, and you can give yourself those moments as long as you feel like you're gonna be rested enough. um I don't ever recommend melatonin to people unless they already have a lot of issues with their sleep. I have insomnia. Hey, it got me off of Ambien, so I will use melatonin. But but if you do have issues with insomnia, I just get these, like, they're from the Ollie brand from Target. They're just little melatonin gummies. I usually take them about an hour to an hour and a half before bed. And that way I'm feeling sleepy enough for that. And I know like it's time to clock out. Like my brain is actually going to sleep. And I'm not feeling like, well, there's still so much more I can do in the house. So, and schedules are important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Melatonin makes me have crazy dreams.
Does it? I
Yeah.
don't really remember mine.
Super intense dreams.
I want that.
No. No, because then you wake up and you're just like, was it basically it feels like a drug trip most of the time.
That's what Ambien did to me. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can tell y'all Ambien stories. It was a good thing when I got off of that.
So I would agree to dabble lightly in melatonin if you absolutely need it. But again, the same thing as waking up earlier. Start small. Go to bed 10 minutes earlier than you usually do. Because if you go to bed 2 hours early, then you normally, let's say you normally go to bed at 2 in the morning, you want to go to bed at midnight. Well, then you're going to be waking up 2 hours earlier than you usually
Yeah.
do. So if
That's
that's
a
the
big
thing,
jump.
then yeah, do that. But otherwise, like if you like your wake up time, but you know that you just need more sleep, then you only have one direction to go. So if you go to bed at midnight, try 11:45 for a couple days.
And
And
use
then,
alarms to wake yourself up earlier too. Like
yeah.
just smidge earlier because it'll make you more tired earlier as well.
Yep.
Well, hopefully.
And I like to definitely do the whole prepare the mood for things. So like in the morning, I come out and I turn on really happy, kind of like, wake you up music. I light a candle that has a really bright scent that I enjoy. In the evenings, after Charlie goes to bed, almost all the lights are off. It's very low mood lighting in our house. I usually light a different candle right after dinner that is kind of like a warmer scent, like a vanilla or something like that, that just gives you that cozy feeling. And sound is low in the house after Charlie goes to bed. So if there is music, it's on very softly. If I watch a show, I don't have it very loud. And that just kind of sets your brain into that as well. Like you really need to romance your brain to go to
Yeah,
bed. Same way
it's
you would
super.
need to wake up. Like it's the complete opposite. If you want to wake up earlier, then ease yourself in with light, ease yourself in with music. Don't do the harsh alarm that is just like jolting you and demanding your body. Do
Yeah, no,
music that slowly gets louder, right? I
mine's like
play House of Cards by Radiohead is my alarm because the very beginning of it is just nice and soft music. And then he starts singing after about 30 seconds, and it's nice and quiet music for about a minute. And then it starts to get louder. And at that point, like I already have it usually turned off, but if I'm super tired, I can just lay there and listen to this song and wake up to really soft, pretty music. And it just is
mine is
like,
like Legend of Zelda music. It's just so like lovely and soft and cute. And I'm just like, I'm waking up to the fairy forest. Like it's just so nice. But another thing is if you are somebody who works in your sleep space, so if you have like your office there and things like that, and it's hard to disconnect from that as well as on your phone. If you absolutely have to go past your work time, uh, find a spot in your room that is just separate. I have this little ottoman poof that I literally have like in the corner next to my dresser. I never do anything there unless I have an email to answer because my bed, my brain knows this is time to rest, not time to be stressed. So I get up and I go to that little poof and I sit on it and I'll do that and then I will like go to bed. And it's just a training and you're not gonna do it immediately, so don't be mad at yourself. It's you have to romance your brain. I've never heard it that way. But yeah, you got to.
yeah. And I think with all of these creating habits and stuff like that, it's a slow process. It's
Mhm,
you need to romanticize and ease your brain into it. Because if you and that's the thing with resolutions. Like people
mhm.
make their resolutions a week ahead of time, and then they have this anxiety of starting their resolution 7 days later. And by then, their brain is either so ready or their brain has already given up by the time they start. Or you just make a half ass resolution on December 31st that you haven't really thought about. And you're like, well, of course I can't work out 7 days a week because I have a life, right? Like,
What?
yeah, I can't do an hour of weightlifting 7 days a week because my schedule's so crazy and everything. So,
It's again, you're not a machine.
yeah, I think creating habits is the best. I think that's kind of what we settled on after this is creating habits is better because creating habits molds, you
Mhm.
adjust habits easily. Um, And my biggest suggestion is to create a morning and evening routine.
Yeah.
I do a
What
morning
works for
routine,
you?
evening routine, and then I do a reset midday.
And if what we're saying doesn't work for you, it's okay. Do what works for you. My night routine goes in with bath time. I take a bath every night because it is my moment to me. I use a bath bomb, usually preferably rose or like lavender for evening time. And that also like trains my brain. It's like, these scents, the aromas, it's time to relax. It's time to settle down. And that's just a part of self-care for me as well though. But it's trained my habits to be healthy ones for my bedtime.
Yeah. Yay.
Habit stacking.
I'm excited to kind of figure out uh this whole prep. Feel like
Mhm.
feel like I'll be going into the year having more of an idea of what I want
Yeah.
and then how I can easily change it. Because just because 2021 switches over from 2020 does not mean that it's a whole new year and everything gets left behind. And that's a thing
That's
too.
oh, yeah.
I wish we could just close the
Could you
door.
imagine just like a blanket reset every year? Like things just all the bad just went away for a second, and you're just like, okay, fresh start.
Yeah. And I think a habit that I want to create more is hate the term self-care. That's like the term everybody knows. Is more self-care.
What would you
um
call it?
I don't know. I mean, it's stuff that people have been doing, right? For years, decades even, going to get their hair done and, new pair of shoes and or like when men would shine their shoes, that would be, 5 minutes of their self-care when they would sit
Mhm.
there and read the newspaper and nobody would distract them while their shoes got shined. And women would go get their hair done for an hour a week, and that's their self-care. I don't know. I feel like it's just stuff that we should already be doing and it shouldn't be considered extra. I feel like taking a bubble bath every night is something that you just do. So why shouldn't it just be labeled into your life versus
I mean, it is.
I feel
It
like
is.
self-care is something that people like you need some more self-care. So you have to do something extra. Why can't that stuff just be
Oh, I
part
would
of?
never push that on someone because then it feels like a chore if you
Yeah.
tell people that they need to self care. I think that's something that you have to come to terms with yourself, that this is what makes you feel good, what helps you. Um, but there really is no other term for it. I
Yeah.
agree though. I feel like it's a blanket
It's
for
very
a good habit.
feels very
But
pressured.
yeah, you
Um
should never tell people to self care, by the way. That's like
right.
telling someone to calm down.
So like you see everybody on social media and they're just like, "Oh, I'm going to do a self-care day today." And I was like, "You mean you're just going to take the day off?"
Mhm.
Cool. Like, okay, fine, go. But it doesn't need to be like pat on the back because you decided to take a day to, relax because you should be doing that anyways, right?
You should.
So, I don't know what I would
Important
call it.
to take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
There
I
you
don't know what I would call it. I would just call it time off. Maybe.
go. Mm.
Time off from so like if one night after Charlie goes to bed, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna take some time off. That means I'm not gonna be a wife, a mom, or anything else for the evening. I'm just gonna be Sam. And I'm gonna just do what Sam wants to do. And that's it.
Well, nice. I wish I could listen to this Sam and do what this Sam just wants to
Isn't that
do.
such a novel idea? I'm just gonna do what I want to do.
What?
What? Is that a thing
Who
that
are
we're
you?
okay with? Same with mental health days. Yes. Those should just be time off and
Like
unplug.
every
Mental
day
health
is a mental health
shouldn't be a
day.
day. It should be a priority. And I hate when people, I don't know, I feel like the term self care and the term mental health are getting so separated from what you should just already be doing to take care of your body.
Yeah.
So people are just like, I'm having a really bad mental health day. Okay, it probably just means you're just probably having a stress day or you're probably just
Mhm.
having a sad day. I don't know. And if you believe opposite, please let me know. But I just don't, I'm not a huge fan of self care and mental health as the terms as how they are
I
being
would say
used
she's
now.
talking about the terms.
Yes. Yeah. 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 No, as far as the terms go and how they're being publicly used, it almost um, presented as like a badge of honor.
I'm about to say it's almost like a bait.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
So where people are like, you know what, I can't go do this. I'm having a bad mental health day. And I'm like, or you could just say that you're busy. Like, are you wanting something? Are you saying you're having a bad mental health day because you want someone to talk to? Then can you just tell me, hey, I need someone to talk to? Not the bait. It feels like bait because then when people type on Twitter, having a bad mental health day, and then people come in and maybe they just want recognition. Maybe they just want someone to talk to them, and that's why they type that instead of just I don't know. It seems seeking
It is.
to me.
It's a never mind. That's for a different topic another time. I'll hold on to it. But uh there's a lot. Be careful on social media.
Yeah. And
Be careful
maybe,
who you're allowing into your life,
yeah. And
because
maybe
that also
there's
affects
better terms, or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just being super cynical because I am a pretty skeptical person in most aspects of my life. Um,
you. Same.
so I think maybe that's just me being really cynical and skeptical about what's the point in promoting taking care of yourself.
Yeah,
Because it's okay to not be okay, right?
it is, and that is something that is really big. I feel like with the mental health and the self-care, like just those terms in general, although yes, they are correct terms, they've become very hallmark. People
Mm.
profit off of them. Um,
Self-care Sunday.
yeah. And although that's not a bad thing to have, like if that's a healthy habit that you have, that's fine. It's just there there's always evil within good. So you just gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, but a lot of people nowadays are horrible at one-on-one interactions and being honest and starting and during a conversation, right? I feel like we're losing. I mean, this is kind of going side tangent. Maybe we can talk about this at a different day
That's
too.
what I was saying. Like I have something that we can make a show
Yeah.
about it.
I feel like we are losing our ability to communicate
Yeah.
properly. And I'm afraid that generations below us are going to get even worse. We're talking in person, having a meeting in person is going to be like a thing of the past, and they won't know how to speak in front of people. It's like I'm just
Oh,
speaking in front of a
yeah.
camera. I can turn around and talk to the wall and it's just the same, right? But
I
I
will say, I do you remember like growing up when you'd have to like present your projects in person and you'd get a little nervous and stuff. I wonder how that's gonna be.
Yeah.
If they're still gonna do that or if it's gonna be just make it a video presentation or
Yeah,
something
which
like
is so
that.
weird. And I
Yeah.
can't I can't fathom Charlie being like that. So I make him do everything when it comes to seeking help. So like he had to come to the chiropractor with me yesterday. And he sat in a corner and they had a couple toys that they had sanitized when he came in. And at the very end, I was like, you need to go ask the lady at the front desk what you need to do with them so that way they can be cleaned again. And he's like, well, I could just leave them here. And I'm like, you don't know that. You need to walk up to the counter and say, excuse me, miss, what do I need to do with this?
Mm.
And growing up, my parents would just do that stuff for me. And now I have anxiety going up to somebody at Target and being like, can you help me find this soap? Like, or,
Yeah.
I can't do it. It just makes me so scared that they're going to stare at me and I don't know how to say it. So for the tiniest things, I know that she had already said that Charlie can just leave everything on the table and she'll clean it. But I want Charlie to be able to, get to that point himself. And it's definitely I feel myself losing that little bit of ability to do that myself. The
Yeah.
more and more that we do things through screens and through cameras and through texting.
Yeah, because even nowadays you can just order something at Target because you don't want to grab it. Like you can pick it up the same day, but you're just like, I don't know where that is. I'm just gonna order it.
Yeah.
Go grab it.
And I can
All right.
tell that it's like eating away at me because I hate when people call me.
All right, I'm call you.
Don't. I
Kidding. I wouldn't.
oh. It makes me so frustrated because it's always at a time that obviously is convenient for you, but never convenient for me, right? I have a
Mhm.
friend that always calls me when she's done with work on the way to pick up her kid, but it's always when I'm scrambling to finish my day so that way I can hang out with my family. We're like an hour off from each other. And so she
Oh,
calls
real life
me.
friends.
Yeah. She
Those
calls me and
schedules.
I'm just like, I can't talk or I just don't answer. And then it goes like months that we don't talk because when I'm free in the mid afternoon, she's at work. And so we just never talk. The end.
I feel that. Yeah, no. I'm grateful for my industry friends because they kind of understand my schedule.
Yeah.
So they won't call me. Or they'll first be like, hey, are you available? Or call me when you're available.
Yeah.
But then I still have to text them when I am available, make sure they're available.
Right.
But, my sweet real life friends, they're just like, "Ah, it's 2 p.m. Let's call Sam." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm still working.
Nope, can't do
I'm working
that.
till like 6. Don't do it."
Oh
Uh,
goodness. So okay, I think we got some habits ready to break or make for this year.
Ooh, yeah. Break or make.
Do you guys
Shake it.
have any, real quick before we're done, do you guys have any habits or goals that you are doing this year? See what a few of them are. And maybe there's a habit that you coincide with somebody else in chat that you want to link up with them and see
Mhm.
if you guys want to encourage each other. Or maybe it's just somebody you already talk to in chat all the time or on social media or are friends with. And you're like, wait, I would totally love to be able to help you out with that. Focus on family time and limit screen time for all of us. Yep.
What's limiting screen time, Precious?
Yeah. We do family screen time a lot, where all three of us will be doing stuff, but we'll all be sitting on the couch together. That's our thing a lot.
Mhm. We do
Read
that
more
too.
books. I just got 3 new books for Christmas. I'm excited.
Did you?
I got I don't remember the like the series name, but it's reimagining of Disney books or Disney movies.
I think
So
you told me this.
um the Beauty and the Beast one is called Tale as Old as Time. And what if Belle's
Oh,
mother was the one that cursed the beast? Or what if Ariel didn't defeat Ursula? Or what was another one? What if Sleeping Beauty never woke up? And just kind of like reimagining the worlds.
wait, I want these books.
Yeah,
You
or
better
like
send me
the
the one.
Aladdin one is Jafar took over. And so now Princess Jasmine got kicked out and she meets Aladdin still, but now they have to try to defeat Jafar because Aladdin never found the lamp. Jafar did.
God.
And I was like, these are so cool. You need those books? I'll try to find, I don't remember what the series is called, but they're actual from Disney. So it's pretty cool.
That's even better. Oh my gosh, I love when the villain gets the victory.
Yeah. It just, I mean, it's fun.
Sorry,
Right?
I love villains so much. They just have better stories.
And then I see some people that are just like, I don't know what I want to do. That's fine. There is
That's
no
okay.
reason why you need to, make a goal on January 1st.
Yeah, there's also no life rule book.
No.
Like at all.
Well,
Nobody has to make a goal ever.
drink more water, less soda and
Good.
alcohol. I already started this, but in a setback and getting back into gear soon. There's your discipline. When you say I'm getting back into gear soon, that's not like we're trying to point anybody out or anything like that. But that is a perfect example of the lack of discipline. Is if
Mhm.
as soon as you realize that you are not following through, if you're like, I'm gonna get back into it soon. Okay, but then that's motivation again and not discipline. Something to think about.
Yeah.
Because discipline
Yeah.
is if you're like, man, yesterday I didn't drink my 8 glasses of water. Dang it.
Oh my gosh.
Tomorrow.
Can I just say I hate that?
Yeah.
Where you have to like, did you drink your water today? And I'm like, I'm trying.
Yeah. That's why I have the one giant water bottle. So if I just drink one of them, I don't have to refill it. Because I'm the person that like drinks one water bottle and then has to refill it and then I just forget. And then I don't drink any more water the rest of the day. So I give myself one giant one. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good way of looking at it is if you ever say, I'm gonna start this soon, you don't have the discipline yet to start it. Because if you're gonna
Just
say,
start it.
yeah, if you're gonna like, I'm gonna do 50 crunches a day, starting right now, starting today. Kind of thing.
It's the same with if you have a goal for streaming or to start streaming. Just, I literally started with my Xbox Connect
Yeah.
sitting on top of my college books and my TV with my
Ben started
Xbox.
with no camera.
That's it. Yeah. So like just find what you have and start. Because the longer you wait, the longer you've missed.
Yeah. I do lessons for the year instead of resolutions. I have things I need to learn or teach myself. Last year was you can't pour from an empty cup. Perfect. We love that. I meditate for a month or so on what I've been struggling with, need to learn next year, and how to teach myself it. That's a perfect way of looking at it.
Mm.
There you go. Absolutely right. I hadn't bought soda in months and picked up a pack the other day in a weak moment. Those weak moments, lack of discipline for me for sure. And that's okay because remember, we're all humans. Everybody makes mistakes. I do the same thing too, where it's 10 o'clock at
Mhm.
night and I come upstairs and I'm like, I'm gonna have some candy.
I love your joy for candy. It brings me joy,
I
and I
love
kind of
candy
wish I
so
had that.
much. Um, and and then afterwards I'm like, well, dang, I bought this whole entire bag of candy. Do I give myself the leadway and be like, when it's empty, when it's all gone, I won't buy anymore? Or do I just pawn it off to somebody else that doesn't mind eating a ton of candy? And then I just, cut the habit right then and there. The same thing
Or you could
that
also
like,
do you just have
yeah.
less of it
Or
and just
maybe my goal of or my habit of not having candy not is too strong for me. Maybe that habit is too strong for me to handle. So maybe, or if I have soda, maybe instead of getting a pack of soda, like a 24 pack of soda a week or whatever, I don't know. I haven't drank soda in like is that seems like a good amount of cans that would come together. So I'm getting a 24 pack of soda for a week. Maybe you only get like a 6 pack, and then that's it. When it's gone, it's gone. So if you drink two of them on Tuesday and all of them on Wednesday, well then you're just screwed until the following Tuesday, kind of thing. Um,
yeah.
and that's another way. If your habits that you want are too strong for you, just pare them down, but still give yourself a stopping point.
Really important chat. Like this is a really good discussion, especially because we don't need to make very difficult goals in a time that is already very difficult. So,
Yeah, and I think also not regimenting. Is that the right word? Regimenting your whole entire life. So like not everything. I used to calendar block. Have you ever heard of that? Where you would take your schedule. So for example, today would be from 7:30 to 8:30 was wake up time. From 8:30 to 10 would
oh,
be for me to do my errands. And then from 10, because that's when Sam and I get on and start doing all of our tech check and stuff like that. From 10 to 12:30 is magic word. 12:30 to 1 is going to be lunch. From 1 to 3 is going to be work. From 3 to 4 is going to be laundry and house chores. From 4 to 5 is going to be hanging out with family. 5 to 5:30 is making dinner. 5:30 to 6 is eating dinner.
no, 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 no,
So
no.
many people find that helpful because they're just there like that's they need those
I
building
feel like if
blocks.
I wasn't working, that would be helpful, like to keep me in a daily routine. Like if I was just stay-at-home mom,
Yeah,
like that's it, no other work, then I probably would so that I had a routine.
but even
Um,
like with
I
your
don't
I
know.
guess with streaming it wouldn't work necessarily to break up your work smaller, but let's say you worked at a desk job and you're like, all
Okay.
right, I have this meeting from 1 to 2, but then I also have a meeting from 2:30 to 3, so let me do emails from 2 to 2:30. So by the time 2 o'clock gets there, you already know what you're doing. And
Mhm.
that's a thing that a lot of people find um
Yeah.
healthy and helpful.
I guess I just mentally tell myself what I'm doing during my
Right.
downtime.
But for me, I did that for like a good month and
Mhm.
sucked at it because my life was so regimented that when lunch ran over because it took me a little bit longer to make it, then I was like, well, crap, now I got to readjust everything. And now I'm losing 15 minutes of email time. And now and then that anxiety of having so much to do
Oh, I can
because
see
my
that's
calendar was constantly full. There was even like, you block off your me time. So I would be like from 9 to 10, me time. Then 10 to 10:30, get ready for bed. Go to bed at 10:30 kind of thing. And even then I was just like, well, my show's not done, but it's 10:30 and I have to get ready for bed. Now what do I do? Okay. And then I would just like break it all the time because that didn't work for me.
yeah. And not even like if that was a discipline where like you couldn't watch that show just then because it wasn't in your disciplinary time, you
Mhm.
can still give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Like be kind to you for sure. You're allowed things. Just don't make it a habit, you know?
Yeah. I see somebody, we've been reducing our candy and eventually we will have only a small amount of low gram sugar candies on hand for the cravings. Have you heard about Smart Sweets?
I'm about to say, Smart Sweets is so good.
For those of you that have not yet, it's one of those other things that I talk nonstop about. But Smart
We're not
Sweets,
sponsored.
Huh?
But they can sponsor us if they
Yes,
want.
please sponsor us. They send like I'm on their PR list, so maybe I can like try to
Mhm.
get a little step further than that. But yes, Smart Sweets, they are low sugar candies, but they don't use sugar alcohols, so you don't have to worry about the digestive issues of low sugar normal candy.
Mhm.
And they just taste so good. And there's tons of different kinds. They come out with new stuff all the time. So if you're wanting to, I used to have a sugar addiction, like 100%. I would sit here, we would talk about a candy bar, and I would just start drooling uncontrollably until I ate some sugar. And about a year ago, Ben and I started having Smart Sweets, and now I can't even finish a bag of Smart Sweets because that's enough for me.
Proud of you.
So I've kicked my addiction.
Proud of you.
But even then, like if I go back to a bag of M&Ms or whatever, I don't even like M&Ms. That's just the first thing I could think of. If I went back to a kind of candy that I liked that's the full sugar, I could eat the whole entire bag still. But there's just something about that smaller portion. Yes, you love Smart Sweets. Yes. Have you heard of the Who brand of low gram chocolate? Yes. The orange cashew butter, Who Kitchen. Mm, so
I've
good.
never heard of that.
Oh
That's
yeah,
something I'm gonna look into. But it's about that time, Sam.
it is.
So shall we wrap?
We shall.
All right. Are you ready? You said we're wrapping. Go.
Cats. Cats. That's all I know how to do.
Nick, I was really hoping she was gonna throw some bars. All right.
No, no, least coordinated person when it comes to that kind of stuff. Um, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, y'all. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, and just happy holidays. I just hope that your days are good this week, okay?
Yeah. Happy
And we will be
holidays.
back Friday again.
See
Next
you
year.
next
See you
year.
next
I
year.
love saying that so much.
I do too. It gives me giggles.
See you next year. All right.
Have a happy new year.
Yes, per usual. You guys
Stay
have
extra
your
magical.